Well, today we've started early because we've taken a coach trip tour, initially stopping off at Nazareth where we're at now, and in fact this church is a very modern church, but underneath in the foundations, as you can see, there are some stones to our left in a second with an archway, and this is reported to be where Mary and Joseph lived. A lot of information again, of course, so you can have a look at the other things that are coming up shortly, but we are going to be going to the Sea of Galilee and other places along the way, so enjoy the countryside and the information you're going to hear.
This is where the house was.
Warmer in the summer, cooler in the winter. Sorry, upside down. Upside down. So it's the poor people and those who are not rich who live under the ground. Only the rich one will live above the ground. So he was a carpenter, he used to work under the ground. Let's go and visit the place where was his workshop. Come. See a plan of the grotto inside. Okay, the stairs to get down, half round tunnel, then the big grotto here. The picture of the grotto is here. You see that square here, and this is the one to get from here. So actually from that square you can see a small part of the tunnel, and another one to go to another room. A couple of years ago, people was able to go and to visit the crypt and to go inside and to visit the tunnel and the grotto. But, you know, the people like to take a small stone as a souvenir. They took a lot of small stones and there was almost no grotto. That's why the grotto was closed completely for visitors, and today nobody can go and visit the grotto. So, the stairs to get down are here, you can see them. It will make it half round tunnel. If you start and stand here in the square, you can see part of the tunnel and the room is over there. But the main grotto, the big grotto workshop is probably here in that area, under us. As you can see on the plan. Okay, we are standing, I guess, here, because you can see the square, so the grotto is... It's a cave. Grotto is a cave. Usually it's an underground cave. Usually.
Are they used for?
Living. The workshop. He used to work here under the ground. I said it. It was a workshop. He was a carpenter and he used to work under the ground. People was using the underground city to live. We're going to see later on the way out. We're going to see part of the underground city.
Is this where they lived as well?
Yes. They were living in Nazareth.
But no.
No. The house.
From there to there. No.
Was found during the excavations. Remember, to live under the ground is normal for people not rich and even some poor and not rich people. The rich will live above the ground. So this is underground city that was found here. Probably that they was living here. I mean, Jesus and Mary was living here, and Joseph was in that place over here, under the ground. Yes.
It's just a normal private home. Sometimes people go in and they might have a bit of a night, like the music on the window.
Right, so we've left Nazareth now, about 20 odd miles away, and we're in a place called the Church of Heptagon, and the guide will explain more as we step inside. Tree hugger.
Weather. Okay, listen, we are now in front of the church, or in the church of the multiplication of the fish and doves. First, if you remember, I said that the whole day long we are going to be on the Via Maris. And here you can see the Via Maris. The Via Maris, we are still on the Via Maris, the church is built next to the Via Maris. The village that we are going to visit, Capernaum, is also next to the Via Maris. The first church, like every church, was built 325, 350, destroyed 650, then rebuilt and then destroyed, and finally in 1980 the people here, the Germans, Benedictus, have found the ruins of the church, the mosaic floors, and have built on top the church that we are going to see. So the church is actually new, like maybe 25 years old, 30 years old. Yeah, it's a new church. Most of the churches in Israel that you are visiting today are new. Most of them. Most of them. Now, in the church, we have found those mosaic floors, lovely mosaic floors, and we didn't know from where the people that built the mosaics knew that there is birds like that and flowers like that, because in Israel we don't have them. So we were assuming that someone came from abroad and brought maybe the catalog, and actually when we found that thing that we are going to see inside the church, we understood why or how they knew that there is birds and flowers like that, because that thing is called a Nilometer. Nilometer is something measuring the height of the Nile in Egypt, because the Egyptians, to irrigate their fields, they will make small canals from the Nile to their fields. When the level of the Nile will get to a certain height, so then they will know that in about 2 or 3 or 4 days in a week, the level will get higher, and then they can irrigate their fields. The water will come through the canals. So, bless you. You see, I'm right. So they have, it's a great festival for the Egyptians when the level is getting to the maximum height. So when we have found that Nilometer, we understood that the birds and the flowers belong to Egypt, and not to here. And the guy that came from Egypt, we had a professional who he had the catalog in his head, and he came to the people here and said, hey, which one of the pictures you wanted to make, and they decided to make those pictures. So, we are going to visit the church. Most of the mosaics that was found are destroyed, but at least a few parts that are completely original. And we're going to see, and I'm going to tell you which one is original, which one is new. That one, unfortunately, the famous logo of the 2 fish and the 5 pieces of bread is not original. It's not original in the church. But you see the ducks and you see the birds and the peacock, the peacock, etc. that are original. Original on the floor, it means 4th century.
Is peacock well in Israel?
Sorry?
Is peacock well in Israel?
Yeah.
I heard one walking in the
Yes. Okay. Come inside the church.
Oh, it's smaller than that.
Those mosaic floors are original. The ones here, they are original completely from the 4th century, the first church. Then you can see from here, but you will go later on over there in the center. You can see the altar, and under the altar you can see a rock. And this is a rock on which, according to the tradition, Jesus has done here the miracle of the multiplication of the fish and the rocks. I said according to the tradition, you know why. Okay? Then, next to the altar, you can see the logo of the 2 fish and the 5 loaves. It is not original, it's new. It's new. So walk around, see the church, then in a few minutes, come to the bus. Yeah. Go here to the center, see the famous logo. The fish and the 5 loaves. As soon as you move from here. Yeah, you can see the road from here. Oh, this one.
This is the 1st century mosaic. It is genuine, so we're told, and it was uncovered towards the end of 1800, 1900 period, and it's been preserved ever since in this church, because the church has been rebuilt over the years, but nevertheless the mosaic still remains. Church at Tagbar, where Jesus fed the 5,000. We're now by the Sea of Galilee and we're en route to Capernaum, the town of Jesus. In Matthew 4 it tells us that Jesus and his mother moved from Nazareth to Capernaum.
But listen. What is the picture? It's Mary. So she had Sure, yeah.
What's it called?
Take the old swallows having a go at the top. They've all disappeared now.
Jesus spent most of his ministry in the last 3.5 years of his life here in northern Galilee, or Upper Galilee as it is called. This is reputed to be the town of Jesus. Matthew 4 tells us that Jesus moved here with his mother and they resided here. There's every possibility, of course, that our Lord had relatives and relations living here. We're going to visit one location here in Capernaum, which is of significance, and that is St. Peter's house. Has no connection with me, I can assure you. But nevertheless, it was here where the disciples of Jesus resided, especially those that were called the Galilean fishermen. We've just been to Tagbar, of course, where the 5,000 were fed, and it is one of the miracles of Christ performed here in Upper Galilee. And we're now in Capernaum. It's pronounced different ways really, but let's use the typical English variation, Capernaum. It was a Roman stronghold as well, because at least we know there was a centurion based here, because that particular centurion, if you recall in the scriptures, had a servant, a loyal servant, who was deadly sick, almost died of a fever and all its complications. And the centurion came to Jesus rather than Jesus go to the centurion, and we would imagine that the meeting here in Capernaum was something to talk about, because one would never expect a Roman army captain to go and appeal to a Jew for help. But that is precisely what the situation was about. And of course, the centurion in that conversation said to Jesus, "You've no need to come to my headquarters. You just speak the word only, and that will be sufficient for the miracle to take place." And that's exactly what happened. Saying a word, and I know my servant will be healed. And that is one of the miracles recorded here in Capernaum. There were others. So we're going to have a look round this town. It's one of my favourite spots in Israel, and I'm glad to be here once again. I've been visiting Capernaum now, something like 40 to 50 years, and I never tire of coming again. Join with us as we go round this ancient North Galilean, Upper Galilean town called Capernaum. God bless you. With the Sea of Galilee in the background, here in Capernaum, the boats would often come here. The fishermen would go from this particular point into the Sea of Galilee to do their fishing. And as we shall see in a moment, behind us, close proximity to the coastline or the shoreline, was St. Peter's house, Peter the fisherman. I know during the excavations that they found items with the name Jesus on it, So we know that Jesus was frequently here, and Peter was linked with that as well. So there's no doubting that this was the place where the Roman soldiers were billeted. The Roman army captain came and pleaded with help for his servant, and where the disciples went out fishing. And of course it was on this sea that Jesus would walk the water, command them to cast their nets on the right side, and find fishers when they toiled endlessly and caught nothing. So this is the famous Sea of Galilee. Over on the left-hand side, which we're now viewing, we have the area of Gadara, where, if you recall, Jesus loosed the madman of Gadara from a legion of demons, and the swine had gathered on the coast, and Jesus cast the demons into the swine, and they in turn ran down the coastline and down into the sea. Even the demons had enough sense to try and separate themselves from demons by being in the waters of Galilee. This large-scale construction was erected over the house of St. Peter. Archaeological digs proved that it was certainly here where Peter resided. Now, of course, the upper section has become a guest house for the White Fathers who own this particular section of Galilee. To the left we shall see the sign synagogue. It is an ancient synagogue. It existed here, and of course many things happened in that synagogue. But what happened to Capernaum, of course, it was one of the woe cities. Woe unto Chorazin, woe unto Capernaum. The Lord knew what would happen to these cities well in advance of the situation taking place, and Capernaum was rocked by a number of very shaky earthquakes, and in the end the place was destroyed by one superquake and was rendered useless. And so really what we have now are the fragments of that old city or town being put together by the archaeologists who have worked ceaselessly to bring this little place alive again, not on the same status as it was in the New Testament period, but enough for us to know that this was a place that Jesus ministered, where his family, or at least Mary, lived with him, his mother lived with him, and of course relations and relatives of Jesus. Capernaum, the town of the Lord. Now what part this will play in the future, there's not a lot of prophecies linked with this, especially after Jesus had predicted the destruction of the town, which occurred about the 7th and 6th century period, and it's been desolate until it was revived in recent years by the people which were known as the White Fathers, came and renovated it in such a way that we can now look at Capernaum and have a glimpse to some degree of its past status. But of course it was here where Jesus met with his disciples after his resurrection and appeared to them. Near Tagba actually, that we just visited, and found them toiling all night and catching nothing, and then commanding them, cast the net on the right side and ye shall find. And what a find too, 153 great fishes. What can that be symbolic of? Well, let me just update you on that Queen Victoria in the 1830s paid quite a considerable sum to trace her ancestry back to Adam. And I happened to have seen the copy of that research, and it totaled about 150 generations. Of course, there are 153 fishes in the net. So add 3 more generations on, and we're about now to this time. And so 153 generations, they represent, they're catching in the nets, the gospel net as it were, the net of faith, those generations, or at least representatives from each one. And if you want to start with the first generation, remember Abel. Abel, remember, was killed by Cain, but was replaced by Seth. And remember how Mary said when Seth arrived that she'd gotten a man from the Lord. And so there was a continual flow from the days of Adam right through in the generations, which even in the end time embraced our own royal family. But that's another story in itself. And if you'd like more details, don't hesitate to contact me and I'll try and enlighten you. God bless you. So from St. Peter's House and its present-day covering, we look now at the synagogue. It's the synagogue of Capernaum. It's here now, coming into view. Behind we have the Orthodox Church with its many crosses and pink roof. But we have also the synagogue of Capernaum. The synagogue was a place of worship, of course, but it was also a debating chamber. It's here where the first 5 books of the Bible are systematically read right through the year, and the verses read are open to discussion amongst the most spiritual members of the congregation. The Mishnah is also a record of some of those discussions. But this has been very carefully put together, having been shaken to its foundations by one of the great major earthquakes of the 1st century. We're not sure where the Roman army was encamped, but they were certainly here in the vicinity. And it was because of our Lord's wonderful miracle upon the servant of the centurion that we have this particular place brought into significance. The vegetation at this time of the year is spectacular. February and March, everything that was dormant comes to life, and that's what we're beginning to see now. We've just seen the swallows swooping around and nesting in the eaves of some of the buildings. It's a beautiful time to visit Israel.
First, they will pick up the olives from the trees, we'll put them here, we'll turn around the wheel with the animal, smash the olives, then take the olives, put them in bags, one on top of the other one, on that black thing over here, squeeze them with a stone, and you'll get the oil. The oil will go through the canal to the big hole over there, take the oil from here and sell it. But first we have to smash them. And this is until today. The same system. Today it's not done with stones, but hydraulically, but it's the same system. You have to smash first the olives, then to press them, and then you'll get the oil. Was blessed in the Bible by 7 fruits. Can you remember what are the fruits?
I didn't hear the question. What was the question?
7 fruits.
Olives,
Figs,
figs,
Pomegranates?
grapes,
dates, grapes,
Dates.
and the last one? Pomegranate, of course. The gonad. Then there is 2 not fruits, and this no, not fruits. Wheat and barley. Wheat and barley. Okay? De l'orge et le blé. We can see here columns. Well, they are white. Okay, white stones that belong to the second synagogue, and on them you have some decoration. We can see the Star of David. But listen, we are talking about the 4th century, so the Star of David is just a decoration. It's not yet the symbol of the Jews. The Star of David became the symbol of the Jews much later, at the 16th, 17th century. Until then it was a menorah. So you can see.
David at that time had been a symbol of Jesus. So it's
No. You can see here the Rosetta, you can see here the Star of David. Then, what do you see here? The pomegranate. Pomegranate there.
That's right.
Olives. Keep on walking and have a look. You can see the figs. I'm going to show you the figs. Here. Here you can see the figs. And here you can see the pomegranate. Okay, once again you can see here the pomegranate and here the grapes. Okay, now tell me please, what do you see? What do you see here?
Roman columns.
Roman columns, what else?
doors to a synagogue.
Doors to a synagogue, what else?
Wheels.
Say it again.
Wheels.
Wheels. Do you understand or not?
Moving. Something's moving.
Something is moving, of course. Something is moving. It was a mobile holy ark. Listen. We are talking about the 2nd century. All the synagogues that was built in the Galilee from the 2nd to the 5th, 6th century, it was exactly the same thing, system. In the wall facing Jerusalem, no place to put the holy ark, and there is doors. We didn't know how they used to manage, how they used to pray, until we found that thing. When we found it, we understood. First, since we're talking about the Roman time, the Romans will be against any other religion except theirs. They'll be against the Christians. Who was sent to the arena to fight against the gladiators and the animals? The first Christians, right? Who will not be able to teach the religion? The Jews. So, they build the synagogue. That is not a synagogue. It's a Roman temple. We are worshiping your gods, not ours. We don't have a synagogue. We don't have the Torah. When they are not in the area, they will bring that thing that is probably outside the synagogue, hide somewhere. We'll bring it inside the synagogue. We'll open the 2 doors from here. We'll take it from inside the Torah, use it, put it back, close the doors, and move it to maybe at the back of the synagogue, or even sometimes outside the synagogue, by saying, we are innocent. Okay? To fool the Romans, they built the synagogues as a Roman shrine facing somewhere else, or Greek, and that's how. When we found this, we understood. And now we know also.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
That's how you survive.
Now, I want to show you.
Earliest churches in New York City.
Idea che queste conferenze mettono questo epithet colostro, es offerente zijn kerstgevoel. Epithet developer, offerente. It's not of Ascot as the part, it's vector of Polu, così do templo. Peter it el.
Saint Peter, you can see the key that he's holding. It's a very special key. Keys to the kingdom, keys to heaven, of course. Keys to heaven. And down below him, you can see the fish, the famous fish, Saint Peter fish. Don't forget he was a fisherman. Saint Peter fish, by the way, it's tilapia. You know it's tilapia. Tilapia, I don't know. Tilapia with D. Anyway, this is a fish. Okay? You're hungry? Yeah, me too. Let's go and eat something.
Czyli to była skrzynia, w której przewożono torę.
Tiberias is a city 2,000 years old, established here by Herod Antipas. It was the son of Herod the Great. And he gave to the city the name of the Caesar in Rome that he loved, Tiberio. Tiberias is 200 meters below sea level as the Sea of Galilee, and Tiberias is one of the 4 holy cities for the Jews. The 4 holy cities are Tiberias, Hebron, Jerusalem, and Safed. Tiberias became one of the 4 holy cities because here in Tiberias are buried 2 very big rabbis. The first one is Rabbi Meir Balanes. The second one is Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, is more known as the Maimonite. The Maimonite was a great, we have a very big problem, a very big discussion, I mean the Israelis, if we should give back the Golan Heights and then to sign the peace with Syria or not. 50% are saying yes, give it back, sign the peace with Syria, and then maybe finally automatically we'll have the peace with Lebanon, and finally the peace will come to the peace of land in the world, peace of the world. But there is the other 50% that are saying, no way, don't give it back, because we cannot trust Hafiz Assad, the president, Assad the father and Assad the son. He was able to trust the king of Jordan and the president of Egypt when they have signed the peace with them. Anyway, I don't know what will be the decision, but I really hope that one day we'll have the peace with all our neighbors. On the Golan Heights was found ruins of more than 25 villages, Jewish villages, that was built here from the 2nd to the 5th century, 6th century. So of course we have found also synagogues and ruins of synagogues on the Golan Heights. So that means that at least there was 25 villages of Jews living on top of the Golan Heights from the 2nd to the 6th century. Today on the Golan Heights are living approximately 10,000 Israelis in different villages and kibbutzes and one big city called Katrin. And Katrin have an industrial zone, and they are in the industrial zone. They have a winery. It is known as the Golan Heights Winery. The people of the kibbutz have realized that the soil of the Golan Heights is a volcanic soil, and in the winter there is snow. It's very cold, very dry and very cold, and that's why they have tried to plant grapes. It got a very big success. They bought the grape from Bordeaux, and the technology came from California. And today they are making one of the best wine in the world on top of the Golan Heights, the Golan Heights wineries, and the wine have won a few golden medals of wine tasting. If you want to drink a very good wine, you should buy the wine of the Golan Heights, mainly the Merlot and the Cabernet Sauvignon, the red wine. And it's one of the best in the world. The Golan Heights wineries, they have Yarden, Gamla and Golan. 3 series of wine, all of them are very good. So, as I said, if you want to buy good wine, buy the one of the Golan Heights. Golan Heights wineries. That she will, what? She would like to buy the wine or drink it? Okay. So the very nice lady next to you, when you buy the wine, call me and I'll come to drink the wine with you. We're now in the place called Yardenit. Yardenit is a Jordan River on its way to the Dead Sea. Remember I told you that we have built a dam on the river on its way to the Dead Sea, and actually the dam is over there. So actually there is no more water leaving the Sea of Galilee on the way to the Dead Sea since the last 50 years that the dam was built. The original place where John baptized Jesus is in front of Jericho. It is approximately 200 kilometers from here. But until the year 1967, when people like you, tourists, was coming to Israel and wanted to get baptized, he was not able to go there because it was part of Jordan. So the Israeli government have changed the place from there to here. People accepted the place, and today it became the official baptismal place. When I was talking about tradition, here's a tradition, a new tradition of 40 years. Fish meat. And the Jordan River, since the dam was built, so the Jordan River from the Sea of Galilee to the Dead Sea, there is almost no water going from the sea to the other sea, from the Sea of Galilee to the Dead Sea. So the Jordan River is very dirty. And we, the tour guides, have a joke saying that the Jordan River from the Sea of Galilee to the Dead Sea is not like the Mississippi, but like the Mississippi.
That's a good one.
So, people have changed the place or accepted the place from there to here, and today, as you can see, it's the official place where people are coming to get baptized again. You want to go to the water, you're welcome to do it. You can go downstairs, take off your shoes, put your feet in the water, you'll get holy feet if you want. You can take an empty bottle of water, fill them with water, You can baptize your friends back home, your family back home, but remember, it's the Jordan River. It's maybe holy water, but dirty water, not to drink. Don't drink it. Don't drink it. Okay? Just baptize your family, your friends at home with the holy water from the Jordan River. Now, so listen, the time now is 10 minutes to 4. Let's say 10 minutes after 4, I'm going to see you in the bus. 10 after 4. Now it's 4, 10 to 4.
10 past 4.
10 to 4 now.
5 minutes. Now it's 10 to 4.
No.
Now it's 10 minutes to 4.
10 past 4, he sees on the bus.
10 and 10
And checking.
Not 10, 4.